Hi, and welcome back to Boss Chicks. Today I have three very special guests with me. I have my repeat guest, Miss Jasmine Porter of Sweat and Seduction. I have Miss Kelly Martin and Miss Marilyn Scruggs. I'm going to let these ladies introduce themselves to you, and we'll also let Jasmine give another reintroduction. We'll start with Kelly.
My name is Kelly Martin. I am originally from the Chicagoland area, born and raised. I have a Bachelor's of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies with a minor in Marketing Management, a Master's of Arts in Organizational Leadership with concentrations in Business Acumen and Executive Performance Coaching, and I am currently a doctoral student at Trevecca Nazarene University, pursuing my doctorate in Business Administration. So thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Marilyn.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Marilyn Scruggs. I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm originally from the heart of South Memphis, Tennessee. I have been here in Nashville. I came about 10 years ago, 2010, to attend Tennessee State University, and I stayed. I love the city and the way it's grown economically. I'm now currently the owner, operator of Cocoa Snacks and Vending. I'm extremely proud of my new business ventures, and as well as me and my boyfriend just got our certification in freight brokering as well, and I'm just the floor manager at Caroline's Cafe, just doing things. So thank you so much, Arkisha, for having me today.
So very welcome. Jasmine.
I want to say y'all are so cute.
Thank you.
I'm Jasmine Porter, creator of Sweat and Seduction, your friendly neighborhood sensual therapist. I am a mom of a 9-year-old boy. He's like 3 kids in one. That's my favorite job. Right now, I'm just focusing on all things me and my kid, focusing on Sweat and Seduction. I'm currently in real estate school, so doing some other things under the Sweat and Seduction umbrella and just expanding that business venture. And of course, happy to be here with all of these beautiful ladies. Yay! Excited about this conversation today.
Absolutely. What do we have today?
Well, I'll give a brief introduction. If this is your first time hearing or seeing Boss Chicks podcast, my name is Arkisha Cox, and I am the host of Boss Chicks. I attended Middle Tennessee State University, where I majored in International Public Relations, minored in Spanish and Criminal Justice. I also have a master's in Human Resource Management.
All right.
I am the founder of the LACE Project. That's Let's All Create Empires. So my goal with the LACE Project is to help educate, empower, and employ women. I give a scholarship away to a high school senior in Nashville every year since 2015.
Right.
I'm very thankful for that. And if you need some sweets, you can find me at Kiki's For Real Though. That's hashtag KK4RD. I have an ad right now on Groupon, so you are more than welcome to check me out and see what all the buzz is about.
And I went ahead and put out there the Tracy cookie. Go on and get that. Yes.
So ladies, I just wanted to bring you all together because we know each other in multiple realms, right? And so I thought that this would be a really cool podcast to get so many varying perspectives about different things that are going on. So I know that 2020 has been full of surprises, right? And what would you say has been the most impactful event or shocking event of this year?
Shocking event, like
Shock.
Everything is a shock.
Pandemic. Shocking, like what? Like, are we saying personal shock or something
Anything
that's
something that you were just like, what the
doggone
Well, I would definitely say we could all agree on the pandemic, COVID-19. I know for me personally, I was not taking it serious. I really did not know the impact that it had on the world and what it was becoming. I personally feel like, it's one of those things that it's never going to really go away. I'm not taking a vaccine. And I'm going to be honest and say that my mom is a traveling nurse, and it is certain strands of it. It's more than one strand of it, and there is certain strands that will instantly kill you within a couple days, and then there are also strands that you can live with it. So that's all that I know, but that is definitely what has shocked me the most.
Wow.
just the fact that it was able to happen. I think is what shocked me the most, how it was handled, the fact that not that it happened, the response to it maybe, that there's been such disregard for life in general. And when you hear people's, oh, it's a hoax, it's fake news and things like that, and you're just like, I can't deal with anti-intellects, people who don't have the ability to logic or to have logic, or they don't have reason. They just, because I've heard this, I'm gonna go with it, and you guys are lying. I know, people who have died from this, and I've had family members who have, been hospitalized, and that it's a real thing. So someone who has, for someone who is vulnerable and has a pre-existing condition, it's like, y'all stay away from me. I have not been out, like I haven't eaten out at a restaurant since March, like things like that, just because I'm trying to be careful, because there are people who are not taking it seriously, and they're not like doing the things that need to be done. There are certain people who don't wash their hands when it's not a pandemic.
That's
There's certain people who don't use hand sanitizer when it's not a pandemic, and not everyone around doing that. As far as the vaccine is concerned, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I can't say that I'll take it or that I won't. If I do get it, it'll be after science and research. Trials. Right. I'm not volunteering for no modern day Tuskegee experiments.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, I'm not for that. But if the science supports it, I absolutely will. I remember when we were kids, we didn't get chickenpox vaccinations, and we had to go through it, and they have it now. But if I'm not mistaken, chickenpox is now linked to shingles. Like people who have the chickenpox virus can get shingles.
When they're older,
so when you start thinking about the lasting effects of these things, and I have to consider it because of the risk level. I'm risk averse, guys. Like I'm not, I'm very particular. I have a daughter, so I can't kind of just go with things. I have to, and I'm nosy. I want to know what's going on.
Well, you want to weigh your options.
Right.
You're just not going to make a rash decision off of emotion or because you're regurgitating something that somebody else said.
Right.
So you need to do your own research and think for yourself, and I think that's what's most important, because there are a lot of people that are just, saying things that they hear on YouTube, and they just take it and run with it. And there's so many conspiracy theorists that are just, on all sides of the situation. So, Jasmine,
here's my thing to add.
What say you?
Regardless of how you feel about it, fake news or not, people are dying. So it's something to have. I don't care what it's called, what's going on. Something is killing people. So if they say put a mask on, it's going to, potentially save you from that. Put the mask on. Yeah. I'm so confused. But that's all I have to add to that.
There's 237,000 people that have disappeared. So if this isn't real, I don't know if they're shipping people to Mars. On SpaceX, I don't know what's going on, but my cousin is gone, so something's happening.
Right.
And I just think that we have to get to a place where we're willing to look out for each other and take care of one another. Absolutely. If you know that this is something that could potentially save lives, why not do it? It's not going to hurt you. And I will tell you this, for those people that are saying, my doctor said I don't have to wear a mask, there is no proven medical condition why you cannot have a mask on. That's that.
And for those people who are having issues saying that it violates the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
No. Girl, stop wanting to be, they want to be oppressed so badly. So bad.
Well, this ain't that, so.
At all.
So we're just gonna let that lay right there where it is. So despite what's going on, all of us, we stay in communication with each other. We have a group chat where we speak daily, and we have all been able to accomplish things in 2020 despite everything that's going on. So share with the audience one thing that you're really proud of that you've been able to accomplish this year.
I finished my master's degree in the middle of this mess.
That's right.
And started my doctorate. I just completed my first semester at Tribeca. My next class starts Wednesday, and I think it was bittersweet because there was no graduation.
Yeah,
so it kind of it kind of feels like it didn't end. Like I didn't graduate because it was like there was no finale.
Right.
It was just like, oh, okay, well the paper's done. It really did just kind of go to next. But we've spoken about this outside of here, that grace in space.
Yes.
Giving yourself the grace to
That's right.
understand where you are, the space to deal with that feeling, and just really enjoying the moment and enjoying where you are. So it took me a little while to get there, but that is something that I am proud of.
You should be.
Very
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I honestly, at the beginning of this year, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, honestly. I just knew I saved some money and I knew I wanted to invest and I wanted to start some type of residual income for myself. And the one goal that I completed within 6 months, which I gave myself a year, but within 6 months, I completed
2 in 1.
was putting 5 vending machines at working and productive locations that are now profitable. They are still profitable. They are still profitable. And you know, I'm just extremely proud. I'm extremely blessed. I just felt like once I completed it, I was just like,
You really are.
did.
I did.
I came into the office and you were loading the vending machine one day, and I stopped and I was like, "Oh, that's you?" Right? It was like 2 days after they had put it in there, and they wiped that machine out, and it was
So
just
they had
like,
the good snacks.
it had the good snacks. The other one had the healthy snacks. But it had the good snacks in there. So I remember I texted her and I said, "Girl, the M&M's gone."
Yeah.
Right. You gotta refill it. The M&M's gone. It's empty. They gone, and we're so proud of you.
Very
for
proud
doing that.
of you
Like,
Guys, thank you.
Yeah, I remember one time Jasmine and I were helping her refill the inventory. We're like, "Baby, what you need? You want to take pictures?"
Right.
It
It was so much. It was, and it was so much. And to be honest, like the first day I put it in the office, I didn't say anything because I wanted to see what the reaction was going to be from the employees. But when we had that meeting, and Fred was like, "They put a vending machine over there," like, you know, just where we were. But he was just super excited about it. He was like, "It's honey buns and hot chips." I was like, "They are excited." So genuine.
Oh.
Like, I have friends, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I don't have genuine friends. That's not what I'm saying. But when everybody is coming from a different background and the respect is on the table for what it is that we do individually, and everybody is their own person with their own goals, and everybody is, you know, pushing one another and just being so, you know, motivational. You know, we talk in the mornings every single day. You know, we get out what we need to get out, however it is that we feel, and we come right back to it. I just feel like that is just
All right, y'all, welcome back. So we had to just take a brief intermission. We had a little technical difficulties, but we are back. So this election cycle has proven that we still have a very clear divide within the country. I was not expecting the election to last 5 days. Have you guys noticed anything maybe like on social media that people you were kind of surprised to see things that they were saying that you wouldn't expect them to say, or maybe they didn't speak up when you thought that they should? Okay, well, Jasmine, go ahead. You start.
No. Here's the thing. This has been happening forever. Nothing has changed. Just because there are some people that are not ignorant to certain things and, you know, are all about unity and change and all that good stuff. The founding fathers of this country had a plan. They never wanted us to not be slaves. Like, I never expect somebody that's racist to not be one. I just feel like that the leader that was put in place made them feel, swollen in the chest enough to be like, okay, now I can really, really act on it. So none of the stuff that I'm seeing is like, I don't be like, how dare them? Oh my, it's not a surprise to me. Ignorance is bliss. That's not a surprise to me. So to make it quick, no, I'm not surprised by none of it.
Okay, but I'm talking about your people, like people that you know, maybe people that you work with, or people that you went to
Not
school with.
surprised, disappointed.
That's
I've seen so many Black people talking about Kamala Harris as a Black woman. I've seen so many people bringing up the crime bill. Let me help y'all about this crime bill in 1994. The crime bill was a result of the Reagan era that started with the crack, the war against drugs, the crack epidemic. So that's like what, 1986. That whole dare to be different, dare say no to drugs, all of that. What you have to understand about the 94 crime bill is that, one, we're no longer dealing with the mafia and mob bosses bringing drugs into the inner city. We dealing with the cartel. And that's a whole nother beast. The second, what you have to understand is the crack epidemic wiped us out. If you got a auntie or uncle or a grandparent that survived that and they wasn't strung out and jacked up, then you are blessed. Count it fortunate for that, because it was an awful situation. The Black Caucus got behind the crime bill. Nobody knew what to do. It was a mistake. It was bad. Things were wrong. But I see all of these criminals, like, I'm talking about fools I grew up with. Like, I saw you get shot on the corner. Like, I saw it. I remember when you went to jail. I remember when you got out of jail. And now you talking about, oh, I don't like their record. Well, let's see your record so we can see why you really don't like their record.
And I think at least for President-elect Joe Biden,
All right now.
at least he admitted it was a mistake. Like, we got things wrong. And I think that that's commendable compared to, the current resident of the White House,
The orange
who does no wrong, admits to no fault, and honestly, in my opinion, is only out for himself. And I will be honest with the audience, before I knew about the 3 bankruptcies and the grab him by the poom poom and all of this, just from what you hear about him, what has been put out there for so long about him being this great businessman, the art of the deal, I was actually interested in him as a candidate before I got to know who he really was. I was like, oh, I can't do this.
Girl, as a student of business, I've been disgusted by him for as long as I can remember. If you start looking back at his time as a slumlord in New York City, you start looking into the lawsuits about him redlining. Then when you start looking back at the fact that he actually organized and funded a lynch mob against the Central Park Five. There is nothing about this man that was moral about it. There was nothing moral about him. Like he was just awful.
And I will say this, because now you're from up north, so you guys, even though you're Midwest, you're from up north. The people in the South, we didn't know. Like, I did not know that Donald Trump was sticking, all these contractors and, basically after they get the Taj Mahal or whatever built, then now he all of a sudden has a problem with them and he doesn't want to pay people. We weren't hearing those stories.
No,
we were hearing, oh, he's this multimillionaire, he's self-made, he's this, that, and the other. So it wasn't until he actually became a candidate and things started coming out about his character that I was like, I can't roll with that.
I absolutely can understand that. I know that there are some differences that, the things that you view, the things that, because of location, because of geography, I've never, and it was a personal preference, I've never gotten a sense of him being a good person or a businessman. All of the bankruptcies of the businesses, all of those types of things, those just drive me nuts. But as far as election is concerned, I think it's time to move past those petty grievances. And even talking about Joe, you didn't hear a word of this when he served 8 years as a vice president.
That's right.
There wasn't a grumble about a crime bill. There wasn't a peep about it. And Hillary, it was the primaries, she ran against Barack Obama for the Democratic nomination to run for president. And they brought it up with her, but they said nothing about Joe Biden. So now what's really the issue? Is it because he picked a black woman to be his running mate? But I'm gonna let you have that one. I don't even want to go. That's a whole different situation.
So, okay, let's change gears a little bit. Everyone has heard about Karens. And I'm sorry to all the people that are named Karen. So I'm sorry, this is nothing personal against you.
Unless you're Karen.
Shout out to Whoopi Goldberg, because that's your real name. But anyway,
Wow.
which I love her. Karens have become a part of the pop culture, right? In a negative way. This is not a compliment to you, Karens. Have you ever experienced a Karen? And how did you handle that situation? Or what would you do differently in 30 seconds?
The other day, so I was at Hobby Lobby with my family. I asked someone that I was with, hey, where's the black paint? She was like, it's back there where we just were. Cool, then we're gonna go grab that. I go and grab my black paint. I'm walking back looking for my family. I have on my mask. Hashtag BLM on this side, Black Lives Matter on this side. This Karen lunges her neck at me and says, Trump 2020! Now here's the thing, I'm so looking for my family, I'm in the zone, tunnel vision. So I looked and I kept walking and I said, and I just laughed and shook my head and I was like, poor baby. Cause it's another thing, like I said, I don't feel, it doesn't grab me like, oh my God, you about to get drugged about a Hobby Lobby initially. Because I expect that from them. So it's not, as long as you don't touch me, I'm good. But as soon as I told my family, everybody was ready. Because they were like, how dare she disrupt your peace? You literally walking, said nothing to her, didn't even know. And she felt that it was okay to like enforce her opinion on you about whatever. Wow. So what would I do differently? I would have stopped and stood right in front of that basket and just stared through my mask at her and dared her. Like, just look, just stared at her, just to see. Because then, now you're walking away when you see, I guess she didn't know I was with a tribe of us. Because they poured out of the line. So now you running away, scurrying with your car.
The victim.
The victim.
Marilyn, do you have a Karen story you want to share with us?
Yes, and actually my Karen story is gonna come from today. Literally, I've had an extremely busy weekend. My mind has been running because I've had so much to do. I'm walking in Kroger about to get some snacks, and literally before I could even get in the produce where all the little flowers and the little cookies are, this guy, a Ken, I'm gonna call him a Ken because he's not a Karen. He walks past, he's like, put your mask on. I'm like, okay, maybe he's not talking to me, maybe he's talking to somebody else. And me not thinking, no, I don't have my mask on, but it was just the privilege, the right to just tell me as a grown woman that I need to put my mask on.
Wow.
I don't have to say black woman, but as a grown woman,
right.
to put my mask on. And I'm like, huh? He's like, no, put your mask on, it's the law. Okay. I was about to introduce him to a new law, but we ain't gonna talk about that. So I just personally was like, okay, you need to mind your business. And he was like, it's not funny. And I was like, I'm not laughing. Like, I'm so serious. Like, you about to meet like 2 different laws. I'm about to break like 3 of them. But we ain't gonna talk about that. Because of course, I gotta, yes, exactly. And again, it doesn't, like you're saying, it doesn't surprise me, but it's just the audacity.
Yeah.
The fact that you can find the audacity to tell me, like, you don't, my thing is, I understand it's a law. I totally get that. But you don't understand, like, give a person a second. It could have been so nice as just to say, hey, ma'am, can you put your mask on? Yeah. And I would have felt a little bit better because the security guard was like, yeah, ma'am, can you just put your mask on? I said, baby, I was going to put it on. But give me a second. But hold on. Let me tell you something, Ken. Don't think you won this. Don't
That's right.
think you won this. But that happened to me today. Me personally, going back to that, I haven't had anybody like, social media wise or friend wise that has, said anything that's been like, whoa, hey, did we come from the same hood or, but I know that, a lot of people are going through that and having to change their lifestyles a little bit and the people that they associate with. And I do think that is pretty sad, but this is a free country. I'd rather you go ahead and tell me than for me to find out through action.
Right.
You know.
Well, the moral of the story is mind
Mind
the
your
business
business.
that pays you.
Period.
Mind the business that pays you, okay?
I mean, really.
All right, so we're gonna keep this thing moving. Police brutality. We have seen so many victims of police brutality, whether they were committing a crime or not. I personally believe that there were steps that could have taken place prior to using excessive force, right? So you have George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, who wasn't even doing anything in her own home, and they have all fell victim to this, and it's an epidemic within itself. So is there something that you would recommend that maybe the community should do if they encounter police, or a recommendation for police departments? And I'm gonna let Kelly answer this question.
It's not a problem to fix. It's not. My father's a retired police chief. He's a member of the Police Chiefs Association. I grew up with some of his closest friends who were other officers, and they have no problem apprehending non-black suspects any other time. So there is no additional training that they need. They're trained to do it. This is about the person and who they are. Is there something that we can do? No, there's going to be crime, unfortunately. What Philando Castile, he did what they told him to do, and he still ended up there. So it's not our problem to fix. And so I don't necessarily know that there is anything that we can do. We done marched, rioted, protest, like what else is there to do? You cannot make someone respect you. And you cannot make someone not lump you into a group of people and assume you can't assume that I'm a criminal because of the color of my skin, and you cannot value my life less because of the color of my skin. And that's how it is. They don't care about killing us because they don't value our lives. And that's the part that makes me so upset about Black Lives Matter, because people walk around like it's a protest, it's a partisan issue, and no, it's an actual fact. My Black life matters. It's more than a hashtag. It's not a movement. This is an actual statement of truth. So I wish I had a better answer for that. I don't think it's our responsibility to fix either.
Okay, so I have a few suggestions. One, know your rights. If you're ever apprehended by the police, not saying be combative, but know what your rights are, know how to handle the situation, make sure you're in a safe place. If anyone is looking to make a career change, I would suggest joining the workforce of becoming a police officer. I remember growing up, that was something that little boys especially wanted to be. They wanted to be a police officer. It was like you were heroes. They were heroes at that point. Also, get into the local politics. Start off being in your city council or going to the council meetings. Even if you aren't a member, they have a lot of public meetings and public hearings, so it's important, because a lot of people think, just like with the election cycle, they want to just focus on the president and voting every 4 years, but a lot of very intricate details actually happen every 2 years. And as these people are moving up in the ranks, those are the people that will end up being on Capitol Hill. So it's important to kind of get to know your politicians and get to know your local representatives. So as far as professional athletes, entertainers, and celebrities, do y'all think that they have an obligation to their fans or their followers to speak out about these type of issues?
Absolutely. And I say that because if you aside from the things that they do that we, community service wise, that we don't know about, the fact that you can, make all these songs about everything up under the sun, give us that positivity, pour that back into our communities, because our kids are looking up to you. I mean, like, how many kids do you know like 10 songs by an artist, but you don't even know who he is? And my thing is, can I get that back of where, like, especially, I don't know how to say it, but basically what I'm saying is, I just feel like instead of everybody following the trend of mixtapes and labels and not being signed and all this same stuff, can we start a trend of being more active, being a rapper, and you can actually say like, yeah, he was giving out turkeys every Thanksgiving, or he was actually marching with us. And I know that they're doing it now, but I feel like that is your responsibility. Give that back to us. These kids are looking up to you. Like, it's really not that hard. And I feel like it's extremely important because they have the means to be able to do it. Whereas us as regular people working every day, we don't have the means to get on national television every single day and voice out. They have a platform to do that. So I definitely feel like it is extremely important. And I appreciate it, you know, because like I follow Portia Williams and Yandy Smith, and they are out there. They are protesting. They are getting arrested.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would like to see more of our rappers doing that too.
Yeah,
I would too.
I think that I'm kind of torn because I do agree. I'm one of those people that believes with much, too much is given, much is required. So that you do have the ability and you have the influence, you have the platform. That's great. But for athletes, I think sometimes we forget that this is their job.
Yeah.
Like, we watch them for entertainment, and the same for rappers too. But we watch them for entertainment, but this is their job. Mm-hmm. So they didn't ask to be a role model. They didn't ask to be a public figure. They asked to be able to go and play ball, or to go and be on tour, or whatever the case is. So I guess I kind of get why some of them don't. But the other side of that is that I do feel like, why wouldn't you want to? That's the thing. Why wouldn't you want to say what's right? You know, and kind of guide some. You know that there are impressionable children who could benefit from hearing somebody that they look up to say, "Hey, this is not okay."
Yeah. I want to say shout out to Colin Kaepernick because
I was just gonna bring that up.
I absolutely love you. I hope you see this video one day.
Absolutely.
I adore you. I commend you for standing up and speaking out about social injustice. And I know that there were others that joined you. And yeah, you are putting your career at risk, and you know, but sometimes the dollar isn't worth your respect. It isn't worth your happiness, your peace, your soul. So I commend you for doing that, and for others that have done the same. I know LeBron James has become very, very involved, which he's always like kind of, you know, with the schools and things like that, but he's using his platform. Beyonce and Jay-Z, of course, they do a lot of things kind of behind the scenes that people don't know about. So whether you do it behind the scenes or you do it publicly, there are youth as well as adults that look up to you, aspire to be like you. You're you know, there's a whole beehive out here. So I'm just thankful, and I think it's important. I wouldn't depend on these entertainers to solely raise my children. And I do feel like that's a mistake that some parents make, but I do think that you have a responsibility in a way to help kind of shape and mold, because these youth are looking up to you. I'm gonna segue, and this is not a question that I prepared, but it's been on my heart because I've been seeing a lot about this lately. Speaking of the athletes and the entertainers and things, what do y'all think about all of the buzz that's going on right now about like the Birkin bags and how much people are spending on these bags? Okay. And hold on, let me finish the question.
Okay.
And the reason I'm asking
my arena.
The reason that I'm asking this question is because I saw a post the other day on social media, and I think it's a very valid point. Is, you know, in our culture, you know, we'll drop $138,000 on a bag, or $400,000, or whatever the case may be. And for those of you who do not know, from my understanding, to get a Birkin bag, this is not something that you just walk into the store and buy. You basically have to court the retailer. What I mean by that is you start off buying scarves, or you start off buying this, and then as their inventory becomes available, they invite you to purchase this bag, and a lot of them are limited editions and things like that. But the point that I'm trying to make is I saw on social media the other day is we will spend so much on these labels, but there are a lot of Black luxury designers that do not get the same support. So I just wanted to know, what do y'all like? Why do you think that is? And also, a lot of times these haute couture houses, they don't make their stuff for us, right. And they feel like we actually devalue their merchandise. So why do our people continue to support these brands?
Okay, so I'm gonna start off by saying that it was basically a video of Quavo's girlfriend Saweetie. She was just basically making a general statement of saying, if you have a man that can't, provide for you, uplift you, support your goals, buy you a Birkin, because I know that is what a lot of girls like now. That's in their realm. Quavo can afford a Birkin. Normal people like me, if my man can afford, like, just basically the essentials of us being able to be above water, that is what means something to me. They took the Birkin conversation, they kind of made it like everybody's supposed to be able to afford a Birkin. No, that's not necessarily what she meant, but she was basically just putting it out there as, if he can't make you happy and invest into you, then why are you with him? And I do 100% understand and support that statement, because I wanted to know myself. I wasn't all the way familiar with it. Now, I do say that, because I did see on the Shade Room that they were saying about a lot of Black designers, and I did not know. I wasn't privy to it, and that's my fault that I did not research my own to say who are these designers. But I honestly feel like the reason why we go after these other designers that are, these Birkins, and that has all this, basically what it is that they're representing in their products, is because the people that buy it, they put it out there. They advertise it, they promote it. Those same people need to be promoting Black brands. I think, how else do we know about Birkin? Right. We knew through them. So, and I could be wrong.
No, but that actually speaks a lot to you saying that the designer or label feeling like Black people, they lower the value of it, not understanding that they just gave you free marketing.
That's right.
Like you were in a whole. You were in a whole song that was free marketing for you, and now because of that influence of entertainers and athletes and things like that, because of that influence, you have a whole different market of people who are aspiring to have that, and they look at it like it's a certain level of success. Yeah. And I can kind of understand that. I totally agree that you should have a partner who spoils you, who invests in you, and do those types of things.
So is a Birkin an investment?
It's an investment. It's an investment. There's a such. These are investment bags. Chanel bags are investment bags. Birkins are investment bags, because those are the bags that are not depreciating. So it is an investment bag, but people aren't buying them like they're investment bags. Right. I have a Louis Vuitton that I got from my grandmother, and it's vintage because it was my grandmother's. You know what I mean? So I guess it depends on how you view it. But for the most part, with people wanting them because they see entertainers and celebrities have them, it's for it's that wanting, I want that level of success. I want to be able to do that. Most of it is about a flex and all of that.
It's just absolutely beyond success. I feel like it's a level of feeling accepted.
Like you arrived.
Not even arrived, just accepted. Like, oh, he has these sneakers and these Jordans and this, that, and the fourth. I want those, to feel accepted, or whatever the case may be. I feel like, especially in our community, when you look at celebrities and things like that, you see clout, and that's what's like. I want that, because it is hard out here. So all of that you're showing and flaunting, it's like, I'm so tired of this.
Okay, ladies, so we're almost done. As Black women, there are many instances where we kind of carry this invisible burden for everyone else. So my question is, how do you take care of you?
Why you look at me?
I mean, anybody can go. Who wants to go first?
Well, I feel like sensuality is every woman's superpower, so that's what I do. I just hone into my sensuality, have time in the mirror, lower the lights, play some music that makes me feel good. Whether I'm fully dressed in a onesie or absolutely nothing at all, I just close my eyes and focus on me, allow my soul to kind of let me know what it wants to do. That's how I take care of myself.
Okay. Kelly Red.
That's hard because I'm a mama. I'm a mama and I work and I'm in school, so sometimes taking care of me is a bottle of Prosecco in the bed with thoughtless television.
Yes.
Thoughtless television where I
Yes.
don't have to get deep into anything and it's just thoughtless. Most of the time it's one of the Love and Hip Hop franchises because it's thoughtless. Television is thoughtless. But the Prosecco,
That's what does it for you.
that's my happy space.
Marilyn.
My happy space is knowing that I really have peace in my life. Like when it gets hectic and I start thinking about all these goals and I gotta work all these hours this week and I got trips coming up, I just feel like, oh, give me a second, hold on, wait. Peace. I don't wanna hear nothing. Hold on, do you hear that? You know what I'm saying? Because I have to take it back because, you know, we get so caught up in emotions every single day that we forget that, you know, you need that time to yourself to meditate. And what I started trying to do is like every morning before I open my eyes, I always say, thank you God for letting me make it another day.
I do that.
Instead of being so quick to pick up my phone to scroll on Facebook, don't even know if you can walk or not if you get out the bed. you just scroll and get Facebook. I always like say me just a little light prayer. God, you know what I'm saying? When I put my feet on this ground, give me direction. Give me places of sense of, you know, just a sense of love, you know, because I really want to think with a clear mind. I just feel like peace is my biggest thing right now. If it's gonna stress me out, I don't want
have time for
anything that costs you your peace is too expensive.
Right?
Yeah.
But people, this has become a new thing in 2020. Toxic. Everybody want to use the word toxic, but they don't even know themselves that they're toxic.
Wow.
They don't really know that themselves they are not at peace. That you know, and it just it's mind boggling because I be looking like you don't even know it. You don't even know. You talking about you peaceful, girl. Stay over there.
Your cup up and just say,
Right.
Your sip and say, okay,
Right. I think people really need to learn
peace
that
is priceless.
peace is priceless.
It's
It is.
priceless.
You can't buy it. You can't buy it. I don't even feel like you can have peace if you got a lot of people staying in your house. How do you have peace?
Yeah.
I just think okay.
Well, for me, it is candles. I love candles. My favorite is like vanilla and tobacco scented candles. It's so sensual. I just love it. I love actually listening to R&B. I love love music. So that's my thing.
No, seriously, that's a vibe. That's a vibe. That you cannot replace.
music.
I'm telling you, Terry Campbell, can we hold up? Can we talk?
Yes.
Can we talk for a minute? He ain't gonna ask too many times. Just for a minute.
So, as strong Black women that you are today, what would you tell your younger self?
Let him love you.
Had I not spent my college years chasing love and trying to understand who I was at the same time, I would have been a lot further. You know, a lot of things my mama had already told me. She had already predicted. But of course, that's what I love most about my mom. She watched me, well, I'm not gonna say she watched me, but she seen the mistakes that I made, but she still didn't judge me. She still loved me unconditionally. And she never gave up based off that. So if I could tell my younger self something, it started when I moved off campus. Don't move off campus. Don't buy another car, right? And don't buy no car when you got a car paid for. I bought a car and everything. I don't know who I was.
Sometimes experience is the best teacher.
It
And
is.
that's what I have to tell my husband about our daughter because she just turned 18. And she's, you know, a daddy's girl and he gets so worked up about certain things. I'm like, babe, just let her do it. You know, experience is the best teacher. We told her. Sometimes you gotta hit your head in order. But I would say to my younger self is probably protect your peace, protect your relationship. Because, there's situations where your friends, not saying that they're jealous, but they can cause you to mess up something good that you have, especially when you're inexperienced and you trying to figure it out yourself. So that would be something that I would tell my younger self. Jasmine?
I would tell my younger self to be a wolf, because I never say no, not to my villagers. I always conform to what they need, just because my idea, my level of success is if I can be the hub for everybody else's peace and well-being, then I'm doing my job. So I just act in that. But this year especially, I learned that I give myself the short end of the stick every time.
Yeah.
So I would tell myself to be selfish and be a wolf, because if I put me first a long time ago, I'd be attacking America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
All right, so real quick, we're going to end this. Thank you guys for taking breaks with us. We've had a couple technical difficulties. Real quick, where can people find you?
On Instagram, Kellbells, KELL_BELLES. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You can find me on Facebook. My name is Bonnie Lullabelle, and it has meaning to it. It's not just some ghetto Facebook. It has actual meaning to it, and it's very sentimental to me why it's like that. And on Instagram, you can find me at Bell_BeenBad. Yeah,
In bed. Instagram, Sweat and Seduction is spelled out as it should be. Sweat and AND Seduction. That's where you can find me.
All right, and you can find me on Instagram at The Lace Project. Also, Anchor FM Radio under Boss Chicks, and YouTube under The Lace Project. Thanks so much. We look forward to seeing more from you. You're going to see more from us. Have a great night.